Hey, this is Clint from CT Mad Mods, and this week I built a plow, I broke a plow, and I did plow 2.0. Let's go. Went to Home Depot this morning and got a bunch of supplies. Supplies? What you mean? Of course, you know I got some help. Anyways, I got a winch plate, or what I'm going to use for a winch plate, a piece of 6" by 1/4, and I'm actually just going to mount, I think, the winch mount that comes with it, so I can mount my fair lead on that. For now, I think I'm just going to use the cable, but I did pick up one of these straps specifically made for a winch whenever you're using it as a plow winch. Got some spray paint. Got an extra fair lead from my buddy Todd Anderson at Snowmobile Salvage and ATV Repair. Some acetone, another sanding disc. And I'm kind of disappointed because whenever I got on Amazon and I bought this winch, I was looking at all the winches that they had to offer, and this one was called the Stimulator 3000. Well, what showed up was the Stegadon 3000. I'm not gonna lie, I was looking forward to being able to tell my wife that I was gonna fire up the Stimulator 3000 and do some plowing, but it just didn't work out. Thanks, Amazon. Let's fire up the forklift, get this plow moved back, and get started. So just to get you up to speed, what I've been doing this week at work here is I cut the plow mount off. I took a piece of angle and I welded that on. And I started to set this up. It's just kind of tack weld on. But I started to set this up at the right angle to weld to that. But I couldn't get my rig inside because they had a bunch of freight packed all the way out to the door. So this is Saturday morning, and I'm here, so let's get this done today. Okay, here's my plan with this plate. I'm gonna mount the winch right here, and wherever it ends up being mounted, that's how I'm gonna do it. But I'm going to cut these angles off and weld that to this part of the plow mount. And I'm gonna leave this in there, that way if this winch ever breaks or whatever, I can just hook this winch to it and pick it up. Okay, I got that plate, I found center, and then I wanted it to be about in the center of those bars right there. So I just kind of made some measurements, and Ronan approves. This is how we're gonna cut it. We're gonna cut that plate, and then we're gonna weld that plate on either side. Oh no, I cut it wrong. All right, so here is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna weld that sucker on there, and then I think I'm just gonna bolt through this plate so I'll have a place for my fair lead. That way I don't have to weld nothing to this plate for a fair lead. I may or may not, I don't know. I haven't decided what I'm gonna do with the fair lead. I've got two fair leads. I got one that came with the Stimulator 3000 and one that didn't. I went and picked it up from Todd over at Snowmobile Salvage. And my plan is to put one of the fair leads right here and then go up on the cross member and put that other fair lead up there. And I'm gonna run the cable up through both fair leads and then up to the rig. So as you can see, I'm just kind of doing this, winging it. I'm gonna go ahead and weld that plate on. All right, so that's basically where that's gonna sit. Tempted to kind of offset it just a little so the wires and stuff aren't hanging over. But that's the design right there. I could just bring it over just a little and mount it right there. But we'll see. We'll see what I do. I don't know. Haven't made a decision yet. All right, I just threw some tacks on here. Got 4 of them on there, and I'm gonna weld that eventually, but I don't want to weld it down yet until I make sure that my winch actually fits. So we'll sand all this crap down, and we're gonna paint it black to match. Okay, so here's kind of the design. That's tack welded a little harder than that one, so this one's a little straighter. I need to bend it over just slightly. But I've got my plow centered with my vehicle, and I need to start shaping those ends to weld in there. And then once I get it welded in, then I'm gonna plate the corners and maybe run a cross member in there. I have one more piece that I can run a cross member in, and just kind of strengthen it up. Probably gonna get some 1/4 inch plate and plate all these corners, truss it up, and make it tough. Looks a little bit better. Plus, here's what I got. So it's not as flat as it was. It kind of dips down, and I've got it all blocked off right now, 1.5 inches high, because I have adjustment in those to allow the plow blade to go down a little bit more. So it's 1.5 inches off the ground right now. Nothing should drag, and throw that cross member in. That's where my other fair lead's gonna be, because I'm gonna attach the winch hook to the bumper there somewhere. Okay, there it is. I just tack welded that all together, and I'm actually gonna take it off right now. I'm gonna kind of start welding up where I tack welded that. I need to make sure that these angles are same. It kind of looks like this side is pushed in more a little bit, but you can't really tell in video. But I'll attempt to make the angles the same. All right, let's pull this thing off and weld her up. I'm just sitting here kind of finished welding this thing up, and I wanted to show you that I'm not a horrible welder. It's just usually whenever I'm welding things, it's in the most crappy conditions. Some old rusted piece of junk, but I'm kind of finishing this thing up, and I had some big gaps to fill on these, so I'm gonna grind those out and put a prettier weld on it. But the backside don't look horrible. It's always the bottom or the backside, right? It's not super heavy. I mean, it looks like it would be, but I can pick it up and move it around. Weight's good on a plow, right? But you don't want all that weight on the front end of your little Samurai. So I'm trying to keep it as light as possible, as strong as possible. Ronan's lost interest in what I'm doing. He's on the other side of the building looking for mice or something. Probably pooping in a corner. Anyways, all right, I'm gonna finish welding this thing up and throw it underneath the front end of the Samurai and see how it works. He must have heard his name. Come here. You bored? Yeah. But this is better than being at the house, right? All right, got it all final welded up. Show you some of my welds. The other side looks pretty good. Okay, I pretty much got it finished welded. It is just a little bit off in that corner, like 1/2 inch or something like that out of square. But buddy, I'll take it every day. Now I just have to mount that winch. I think in the meantime, let me throw it on the front of the Samurai and see how it works. was a little worried that this wouldn't be high enough off the ground, but with the winch pulled all the way in, it's 27 inches off the ground. So it's high enough off the ground. Looks pretty good. Yeah, you can see where that 1/2 inch or 1 inch or whatever it was, where it was just kind of out of square, this side kind of lays down a little bit, but it won't matter whenever it's sitting on the ground. I just got to looking at this thing, and it looks like the previous owner hit something pretty hard and broke this right here. So it looks like I can undo this spring right here and tilt the plow down and fix whatever that is. It's a stopper. It's like a bolt that keeps the plow from going too far back. So I need to fix that anyways. But it looks like, you know, the plow is dipping down this side a little bit, and that probably is part of why. So I'll fix that adjustment, and then I need to measure out a cross member. And I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna kind of offset the winch, and whenever I come up with my fair lead with my hook, I'm just gonna hook it to that toe point right there. So it won't be centered. I think that'll work good. All right, there is the winch mounted. And like I said, I'll kind of want to put a cross member in there with another fair lead to go up to that toe hook. Well, I found these little pieces over in the corner, so I welded in some angles, and if I could find 2 more, I'll weld some in them corners, but I'm gonna put a cross member in here. I think it'll be plenty strong. I got my cross member tacked in. I got my fair lead bracket tacked in, and here's the fair lead. I'm gonna run it like this, and so the cable will be able to go from there to there, and then that pulley is on the back side. It'll go up to the toe point. So let's try it out. Got that sucker all welded up. Only thing left to do is hook the wiring. All right, I got this thing all painted up. Probably gonna run over to Kevin's shop this week and get that sucker wired up and mounted. We're not due to have snow for another few days. Hopefully I get it wired up before then. I just use my big winch and kind of suck it in, and it goes right into place. It's pretty awesome. I think that design looks way better. Got way more clearance. It snowed last week, and I never came over here and dug my truck and my bus out. So I'm gonna start that truck up, and I'm gonna get that plow, and I'm gonna plow my spot out so it doesn't get all frozen all winter. So we're about to head out to Arizona, go see Myron at Zook's Off-Road. And I wanna make sure that my truck's plowed out while I'm gone. Well, what just took me a couple of minutes would have taken me hours to do. So I usually shovel this by hand, dig my bus out every time it snows, and dig my truck out every time it snows. So that took me a couple of minutes. Whew. All right, bus is dug out, truck's dug out. I got a plow now. As you can see, my plow works really good. If you watch this video to the end, I really appreciate you watching. Leave a comment, tell me what I did wrong. Thanks for watching my video.